good evening, everybody. It is Friday, July 11th. You may know what that means because you know what's going down tomorrow. It is the High Risk Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, going all in, but not too all in, Jeremy Pierce. Check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and of course the 215 on Twitter. And on today's show, All In is going down. One of the biggest shows of the year, AEW's biggest show of the year, is taking place this Saturday, and you know how we do with these shows. This is a really, really big weekend for professional wrestling. There is Supercard of Honor. WWE has Great American Bash, Evolution, Saturday Night's main event, Total Josie Pro is running an all-women's event, and of course AEW has All In. But for now, you know what's next, so just go on and hit my music. Now, you know how we do with these shows. We have to check out last year's card. Just give us a little recap. But All In 2025 is going down. It's taking place in America this year. All In has, for the first 2 years, taken place in London at Wembley Stadium. So let's see how last year's show went. We had a total of 12 matches with 3 taking place on the pre-show. First, we had a 16-man tag. These 3 matches took place on 0 hour. It was Action Andretti, Kip Sabian, Kyle Fletcher, Leo Rush, Rocky Romero, Tommy Billington, and Top Flight, defeating Arya Daivari, Anthony Ogogo, the Dark Order team of John Silver and Alex Reynolds, Jay Lethal, Private Party, Satnam Singh. Woo! That was a lot. And within 1 year, I don't think any of these people are on the card. Or the whatever. Then we had a mixed tag team match with Tomohiro Ishii and Willow Nightingale, pieces of the Conglomeration, defeating Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway. And then we had a 10-man tag with the Sons of Texas, Dustin Rhodes, Sammy Guevara, Marshall Von Erich, Ross Von Erich, and Katsuyori Shibata, taking on and defeating the Cage of Agony, Bishop Khan, Brian Cage, Toleona, and the Undisputed Kingdom. Our opening contest was a 4-way ladder match for the AEW World Trio Championship with the team of the Blackpool Combat Club, who are good at this point. Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, and Pac defeated the Patriarchy, Christian Cage, Killswitch, and Nick Wayne. Bang Bang Gang, Austin Colton, Gunnar, Juice Robinson, and the House of Black Brody King, Buddy Matthews, and Malachi Black. Mariah May defeated Timeless Tony Storm to win the AEW Women's World Championship. Hook defeated Chris Jericho to regain the FTW Championship. The Young Bucks defeated the Acclaimed and FTR to retain the AEW World Tag Team Championship. Christian Cage won the 12-man Casino Gauntlet match for a future World Championship, defeating Lashley by pinning Kyle O'Reilly. Will Ospreay defeated MJF. This was for the International Championship. Will Ospreay regained that belt. Mercedes Moné defeated Britt Baker, retaining the TBS Championship. The match went 17 minutes. Jack Perry defeated Darby Allin, retaining the TNT Championship. This was a coffin match. And in the main event, Bryan Danielson defeated Swerve Strickland to win the AEW World Championship. But as always, great show. Let's look at this year's show. Collision just went down, and Tony Khan announced a few more matches. So we have 2 matches taking place on 0 hour. The first one is FTR versus the Outrunners. This is a run back for what went down on Collision last week. These two put on a fantastic tag team match. FTR won that one. I think I'm going to take the Outrunners to win this one. And then we have Big Boom AJ teaming up with the Conglomeration, Hologram, Kyle O'Reilly, and Tomohiro Ishii to take on the Don Callis family members of Hachicero, Lance Archer, Rocky Romero, and Trent Beretta. Big Boom AJ is on the card. Expect Big Boom AJ to win there. So then we have our main card. So just announced as well, we have the Opps defending the World Trios Championship against the Death Riders, the team of Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, and Gabe Kidd, who is stepping in for Pac. And I like this. I think Tony Khan remembers that he has trios championships, and the Opps have been in opposition to the Death Riders. This is good. It's got a nice little mix of professional wrestlers in Shibata and Yuta and Joe, and you got the powerhouses in Hobbs and Claudio, and you got the Wildmen and Gabe Kidd. This is going to be a really, really good match. This match is definitely taking place before the main event for the World Championship. I don't expect the Opps to lose unless, and this is a really, really strong caveat, unless for some reason Hook shows up. And Hook's a little hurt that, Hobbs replaced him in the Opps. You're not replaced, bro. It's just we needed a third man. Hobbs had beef with Mox and the Death Riders. So here we are. This is going to be a really, really fun match, but take the Opps to retain here. Then we have a three-way tag team match for the AEW World Championship Tag Team Championship with the Hurt Syndicate taking on JetSpeed and the Patriarchy. Now, if you had asked me before this past Dynamite who was winning, I'd pick the Hurt Syndicate. Now, they have beef with JetSpeed. That much can't be denied. But the team of JetSpeed put a hurt into the Hurt Syndicate after getting their asses beat week in and week out. They got the upper hand on the Hurt Syndicate, and somehow, some way, the Patriarchy scooped in and got the scraps, dropping Lashley, Shelton with some concertos to the legs. So now you've put some doubts into the air, having me believe that the Hurt Syndicate could lose. And because it's there, I think the Hurt Syndicate could lose. If anybody's winning this match, look, JetSpeed's not winning. It's a nice little shtick that they're doing, but would Tony Khan be so bold to have the Patriarchy walk out as tag team champion? That's a really, really interesting question. The Hurt Syndicate have pretty much been dominant since coming to AEW, making quick work of Private Party and holding on to them tag team championship. A lot of this will tie into what happens with MJF and that Gauntlet match, which we'll get to. But I like the Hurt Syndicate to retain here. I'm gonna take the Hurt Syndicate to retain, just because we can see the challengers chase them some more, and we could build up to the Patriarchy getting the tag team titles. Then we have Adam Cole, Kyle Fletcher for the TNT Championship, with Adam Cole defending against Kyle Fletcher. And this beef, this all comes from just the Don Callis family being dicks, trying to put their, hand in all the coffers. They want gold. At Dynasty of this year, Adam Cole defeated Dan Garcia to win the TNT Championship. And then at Double or Nothing, Cole began a feud with Kyle Fletcher, with Cole defeating Fletcher by DQ, right? So on Collision 100, Fletcher defeated Dan Garcia to become the #1 contender. And if you've been watching AEW, like I have, they have really been pushing on Kyle Fletcher being, next in line. Now here's the thing: Adam Cole has held the belt since April. So what's that? May, June, July, 3 months. And the TNT Championship is the title that changes hands a lot. I'm pretty sure it has more different unique champions than any other belt in the history of AEW in its short history. So Adam Cole losing would not shock me, and I think Adam Cole will win here. There's just too much going on with the Don Callis family for Kyle Fletcher not to walk out as champion. They got to start putting some gold on this man. They clearly believe in him. Then we have a tag team match with the team of Swerve, Strickland, and Will Ospreay taking on the Young Bucks. If Will Ospreay and Strickland lose, they cannot challenge for the AEW Strip President titles. Because you have this stipulation, the match is infinitely more interesting, because if it wasn't there, I would pick the Bucks to win. Everything with this match will tie into the main event, so it's like the winners of this match will telegraph the main event. I think that's where we're headed with this. And here's the thing. The Young Bucks return at Dynasty to cost Swerve the World Championship as he was taking on Mox. Swerve had that thing won, and Swerve thinks Mox, got away with one because he did, and he thinks maybe that Hangman was involved. So Swerve said, it's going to be buck hunting season. He's coming for the Bucks as they cost him. And once that was put out there, well, the Bucks decided to do what they do. This is going to be a really, really fantastic match. The Bucks have been using their EVP powers to get into, the business of Swerve and Ospreay, making them just work that much harder, like moving their match that was scheduled for, middle to the end of the show to the opening of the show. And Ospreay and Swerve laid down the challenge. This is very, very, very interesting, because the Bucks having that executive privilege power is very, very interesting, but them losing it strips away a lot of story. But then you have the fact that, what if Hangman wins? Well, Swerve and Ospreay then can't challenge Hangman for the title. That would then in part leave, Swerve potentially turning on Hangman, or Ospreay finally winning the belt next year at All. And so there's a lot to really pay attention to here, but this one is tough. I think the more interesting route is having Swerve and Ospreay lose. The Young Bucks will always give you a fantastic match. Swerve and Ospreay are two of the best in the game, and I think it's infinitely more interesting with them losing and not being able to challenge. So we can maybe potentially continue some more tag team wrestling with them to kind of to hold them over until we shift them back to the top of the card again. So I'm gonna take the Young Bucks to win here. Then we have the Women's Casino Gauntlet, with the winner getting a future AEW Women's Championship match. We know who number 1 and number 2 is. Versus, if you don't know what the Casino Gauntlet is, essentially a gauntlet match where instead of being thrown over the top rope, whoever gets the first pinfall or submission will win. Now, wrestlers come in at different interviews, and we usually have a wild card or Joker as the last pick, but here's last entrant. But here's the thing: the match can end before all of the scheduled competitors get into the match, and that's what makes this one interesting. So we know that Chris Statler's number 1, Megan Bayne is number 2, and I like that we treat 1 and 2 as a big deal, unlike the WWE. So we know Stats in the match, we know Megan Bayne's in the match, and if you've been paying attention to AEW, you can probably guess who will round out the rest of the participants. I'm going to go with TJ, Willow, Queen Aminata, Thekla, Penelope Ford, Athena, Thunder Rosa, Julia Hart, Sky Blue. That's essentially the entire women's division, the active women's division. We might get a return, maybe like Harley Cameron or Nyla Rose or Sheeta. And now listen, if we have a wild card like that, then they'll probably win. But the winner gets a future women's championship match, and again, the winner of this match will dictate who wins the women's world championship match. So I truly think that the only women that could win this match are Willow, Chris, and Megan Bayne. I think One of them has to be the next to get the shots. And like I said, the winner of this match is going to dictate who wins the main event. Well, wins the women's world title. You can transition to Chris versus Willow again. We've already done Megan versus Tony. You can transition to Willow and Mercedes again. That feud only lasted a month. But at some point, and I truly believe this, you're going to have to crown Willow Nightingale. And that's who I'm going to go with to win this match. Willow Nightingale to win this and become the number one contender. On the opposite side, we have the men's Casino Gauntlet. We know that 1 and 2 are Mark Briscoe and MJF. And because they're probably going to end up going to feud with each other, I actually don't think they're going to win. Other participants in the match are Brody King, Bandito, Mystico, and Ricochet. And I think that right there, that might be the winner. I understand that MJF and Mark Briscoe got a thing going on, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. But there's something really, really intriguing about Ricochet winning this match. He's got his group, and the goal is to win. Him and the Gates of Agony are now lined up, and I like that. I like the Gates of Agony. I think I'm going to take Ricochet to win here. Then we have Kazuchika Okada and Kenny Omega putting their respective championships on the line for the winner to become the new unified champion. Kazuchika Okada is the Continental Champion. Kenny Omega is the International Champion. And even though the belt's called the Unified Championship, Intercontinental is right there. They're not actually unifying the championship. It will continue the legacy of both the Continental and International, which is a little weird. Okada tried to murder Kenny. Kenny returned, helping out his longtime friend and tag team partner Kota Ibushi. Go check out the match between Ibushi and Okada. So this is a toss-up. There doesn't need to be much said to build for me to even talk about this. It's Okada, it's Omega, two longtime storied rivals who have put on just some of the greatest wrestling matches you will ever see in your life. They know each other. They know their ups. They know their downs. They know their weaknesses. They know their strengths. There's nothing really to be said. And we could just say, hey, it's Okada and it's Omega. Championships are on the line. Go watch this match. Oh, yeah, I'll do that. So as for the winner, I don't think Kenny has a lot left in the tank, which sucks. Okada also doesn't wrestle a lot, so that's where whoever wins this is probably going to hold us up until the next Continental Classic. And Okada, look, we've only had 2 Continental Champions, which is weird. So just for the hell of it, I'm going to take Kenny to win and become the new unified champion. I don't know why, but something in my gut just says take Kenny. I definitely could be wrong. Then we have the Women's World Championship as Timeless. Toni Storm will be taking on Mercedes Moné. Mercedes Moné gets this match as she won the Women's Owen Hart Cup. And they have finally started putting some heat, putting some stank on this feud. These two are just the best. We got 6 belts. Monet, who holds multiple championships. You want to know what she holds right now? She is the current TBS champion. She is the undisputed British Women's Champion from Rev Pro. She is the CMLL Women's World Champion. She's Austria's EWA Women's Champion. She's the only woman to win championships across AEW, WWE, New Japan, and CMLL. And Timeless Toni Storm is Timeless Toni Storm. She is the 4-time record-holding 4-time AEW Women's World Champion. And even though she knows how to be funny, she turns it on when necessary. And the little digs thrown at each other, the little barbs thrown at each other, it's over and done with. What we have here are two women that are going to put on a clinic and show you what it's all about. This match is definitely going to be put up against all of the women's matches going down at Evolution the following day. So I think Tony and Mercedes are going to go out of their way to steal the weekend. This has the potential to be the best match of the entire card. I don't think Mercedes is winning. Ever since she won the 0-1 Cup, and even before that, being on the road that she has, I believe she was going to win the 0-1 Cup. I always thought she was going to lose because the downfall is going to be great. And now you're going to start to see her lose all of these belts. And Toni Storm can make way for a new challenger, someone else that can be crowned. So I'm taking Timeless Toni Storm to win here. And in our main event, Jon Moxley will be defending the AEW World Championship in a Texas death match. All right, so first things first, Hangman Page got this match because he is the winner of the men's Owen Cup, and the rules of a Texas death match are a wrestler must be pinned or submitted and rendered unconscious first before the ref can make a 10 count. So you gotta like kind of double KO. And these two have actually fought in a Texas death match before, and I believe Mox won that one. But please correct me if I'm wrong. There's so many moving parts with this match. You have let's start with the Death Rider side. Mox has the Death Riders. He has that special someone in Marina Shafir always in his back pocket because she has been in minutes. I'm also shocked that we don't have Willow versus Marina on this card. I would have loved to have that match on this card. And ever since Mox took the world championship from Bryan Danielson, it has been locked up in a briefcase. We have not seen the title in months. More than half a year, we have not seen the world championship. And Mox has the Death Riders. Mox has the support of the Young Bucks. Whereas Hangman has, he has backup in the Opps. He's got backup occasionally in the Conglomeration. He's got backup in Will Ospreay. But will he have backup in Swerve Strickland, his longtime rival? We saw them have some words with each other and lay everything bare this past week on Collision. But the question in the back of everybody's mind is, every time we thought Mox was going to lose, he wins. Whether it was the Fatal 4 with Jay White, Cope, and Orange Cassidy, the one-on-one with Cassidy, the multiple matches with Cope, the matches with Jay, the matches with Swerve. We always thought that Darby Allin was supposed to be the guy. This was his story, but Darby Allin is not here, and we haven't heard from him. We know what he's doing in real life, but we haven't heard from him in the story of AEW. And one of my rules: if you don't hear from someone in a long time, expect something to happen with them. I don't think Darby Allin's showing up. What I think happens truly here is this match is going to be full of a lot of shenanigans and a lot of run-ins. What I truly expect to happen is everybody comes in, tries to save, their respective person who they've been backing in this feud, and the last person to make the save is Swerve Strickland. And therein lies the rub. Will Ospreay's been trying to get everybody on the same page, especially Hangman and Swerve, and it's not easy. Can Swerve put his differences aside to help Hangman win? Remember, Hangman and Swerve both vowed to make sure neither one of them ever becomes world champion, and Swerve making sure Hangman loses would be heart-wrenching. But I think this is the time where Hangman is going to walk away champion. He is AEW's main character. I don't believe that every big event should end with a happy ending. No. I mean, we saw a few times Mox winning, that's not a happy ending. Him murdering Bryan Danielson, that's not a happy ending. So I'm going to take Hangman Adam Page to walk out of All In as your world champion. And the kicker is Swerve and Ospreay can't challenge him. So for a year, we actually have Swerve and Hangman on the same page. But time's up. Swerve returns. So one more time, let's go over this card and the potential winners, who I believe so on 0 Hour. Again, I have the Outrunners defeating FTR. I got Big Boom AJ and the Conglomeration winning their match on the main card. I have the Opps retaining the World Trios Championship. I have the Hurt Syndicate retaining the World Tag Team Championship. I have Fletcher defeating Adam Cole to win the TNT Championship. I have the Young Bucks defeating Swerve and Will Ospreay. I have Willow Nightingale winning the Women's Casino Gauntlet. I have Ricochet winning the Men's Casino Gauntlet. I have Kenny Omega defeating Kazuchika Okada to become the new unified champion. I have Timeless Tony Storm defeating Mercedes Moné to retain the AEW Women's World Championship. And I have Hangman Adam Page defeating Jon Moxley to win the AEW World Championship in a Texas death match. But let me know what you guys think. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, the 215 on Twitter. You know that we got them coming up for the rest of this month. Check out the videos and the list we got going down on the channel. And as always, Bailey, Isla Dawn, Priscilla Kelly, Anna J, Chris Statlander, Willow Nightingale. Holla at your boy. Peace.